What's good YouTube? It's your boy Jojo ASMR here and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I have a very exciting video with you that I've been wanting to make for quite some time, and it is going to be covering the Voiceless Voice archetype, a new deck that has come out in the recent core set Phantom Nightmare and is widely considered to be a strong contender in the upcoming format. Despite the fact we're going into what many believe to be a tier 0.5, borderline tier 0 format with all the fire decks coming out, Voiceless Voice, I personally believe, is a pretty solid contender into those decks, and in my opinion can go toe-to-toe with those decks. So I'm going to be showcasing my initial sort of take on the deck. I'm also going to be presenting some other options in deck building you can do, and at the end of it I'm also going to show you some very standard, easy to follow 1-card, 2-card combos so that you can try this out for yourself. And if you're not even playing this deck, I think in general it's just informative and great to know what these cards do in case you play against it. So I'm very excited to bring this to you. I was able to get the cards really early, so I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. If you enjoyed these competitive videos, find them entertaining or informative or educational, please do give us that feedback. Give the video a like. It really does help out tremendously and motivates us to continue these videos. But with that said, why don't we get straight into the main deck? So for the first card that we have, we play 3 copies of one of the best cards in the deck, Novox, or as it's translated now to the TCG as Low. This is the heart and soul of the deck and is really just your main starter. It's a 1-card combo by itself, and by itself can make some very impressive boards, so we definitely want to max out on this card as the entire deck basically revolves around her. She sort of has a Shurit-like effect that we'll get into later, but in essence this is your heart and soul of the deck. So next up we have one of the other best starters in the deck, Saphira. This is another new card that has come up in Phantom Nightmare. I should probably put the deck profile like this because I only have 1 QCR. We have 3 Saphira, I'm just joking. This card is also amazing. It's a great starter for the deck. It's able to get your engine online as soon as possible, and in general it sends itself into the hand to the graveyard to send a ritual spell from your deck to the grave, and as well is able to search a ritual monster. So this in general is just such a solid card and is fantastic. It allows you to ritual summon by banishing itself from the graveyard, and in general is just one of the main consistency pieces to get your engine online. So these are the cards that you 100% want to max out on. The next card that we have is the new copy of Soravis. This is a sort of a retrain on the Soravis Ritual Monster, and this is just a one-of card that I personally play. It's fantastic. It is so difficult to interact with this card. You can special summon it by shuffling at least 1 ritual spell from your graveyard or hand back into the deck, as well as another spell card to special summon itself, and as a quick effect can bounce itself back to the hand as cost to special summon a ritual monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is just crazy. So this can basically float into your Skull Guardian, which is one of your main boss monsters, your Soravis, and this has incredible applications and interactions into decks like Fire King or any deck that abuses the Wanted engine, because you can basically emergency teleport the Soravis Ritual Monster, which is a Solemn Warning. So this is a very strong one-of that the deck has, and you definitely want to have at least 1 copy of it in your deck. Next up, we have one of the best cards in the deck. This is the Skull Guardian. This card is incredible. Skull Guardian, basically on summon, searches any Silent Force card from deck to hand, and on top of that is a Omni Negate. And whilst Novox is on the field, its attack doubles from 2050 to 4100. This is your boss monster of the deck and is one of the strongest cards that you always want to end on with this deck. Next up we have Soravis, the actual ritual monster. Another very strong card, has great targeting protection, which is great. Often you can search this in the combo, and in general is just an amazing card to special summon on your opponent's turn as well, or Soravis, and love this card to bits. This is quite a normal ratio. And then the other engine I play is the Diviner of the Herald engine. A very solid engine which, on summon, Foolish Burial's a card which somehow I do not own. This is the Trixia Hieratica, I think it's called. Basically, it's a one-of that you splash in with the Diviner engine, So I'll put a photo somewhere on the screen right here. Actually, I'll put the card right here. I don't own this card, so you'll just have to make do with the photo here. I'll have to get it somehow, but essentially Diviner of the Herald is another normal summon that the deck has, and on summon, it can Foolish Burial a fairy monster from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard. A lot of the times you can send the Hieratica to essentially then tribute your Diviner as cost, and when Diviner is tributed, it will special summon on resolution a level 2 or lower fairy monster, which can then special summon Novox and get your plays from there. So Diviner is another consistency card, which the deck doesn't really have any normal summons, so this is a fantastic slot for that normal summon, and you have 6 normal summons in the deck. There are also great interactions with it being a level 2 tuner to basically facilitate some synchro plays, whether it's a Excel Stardust to go into Baron, Chaos Angel, and there are a lot of cool options that this card basically gives you. So I personally like this. There are other options you can play like the Nadir Servant package, the Dogmatica package, but I personally like utilizing my extra deck. I think the extra deck is a very important resource, and one of the issues this deck has sometimes is pushing through boards and ending the game, which I think that the Nadir Servant package, whilst it being strong and fantastic, I personally like my extra deck and want to push for games sometimes, so I like using the Diviner package. That's just my preference, but both are really good. Yep. So that's all for the monsters. Next, for the spells, we have one of the strongest spells that the deck has, the Continuous spell. I forget the TCG translation, it's called Barrier. Barrier is a fantastic card. It gives you targeting protection, which is absurd, and once per turn, it sort of has like a My Friend Purely effect where you just get a Rota every single turn for a Voiceless card, and this is fantastic. Like I said, gives you amazing targeting protection, and a lot of the time you are placing this on the field with your low. Next we have 2 Ritual Spell, which is just another piece that obviously it's a ritual deck, so hard opening this is fine as well, so that's solid. And this is what you're Foolish Burying off your Saphira, and it has a great floating effect in the graveyard where if your ritual monster is cleared, you get to summon for free. We also play 1 trap card. This card is amazing as well as another form of additional interruption. Has 2 relevant effects, one to pop and one to shuffle and search. So both of these are really good. You don't really want to open this. You sort of want to grab this, whether it's off the Dynamondo combo or just off Novox, or sorry, low, if you already open your Barrier. But in general, this is a typical sort of ratio of 3-2-1. And then the other card I personally play is Pre-Preparation of Rites. Nothing really to be said here, just an amazing card to deck thin, search out your ritual spell, search out your ritual monsters, and it's just an overall great consistency card. For non-engine, I personally play 3 Pot of Prosperity, which I guess you could say is technically engine, so yep, it's Pot of Prosperity, nothing to be said here. Next, for hand traps, I personally like hand traps more than board breakers, so I just played 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, I played 2 Nibiru, 2 Vela, and 3 Infinite Impermanence, but please feel free to play whatever sort of non-engine suits your playstyle. Perhaps you want to play board breakers, perhaps it's good for me to mention some great board breakers. You can play stuff like Enemy Controller, which has great interactions with your Diviner of the Herald, because going into a board you can try to take a monster, the Diviner will then trigger, you can dump an Entis, you can do all sorts of great plays. I think Econ is a very solid option if that's something that you're interested in. Droplet is another great one, Super Poly is another great one. Talent, a lot of great options you have to your disposal with this deck, but I personally prefer hand traps. So feel free to play the deck as you like. Next, we have the extra deck. To be honest, the extra deck is very flexible. You can play honestly whatever you want, but the most important card by far is Dynamondo, a card which, as a quick effect, can special summon a ritual from your graveyard, and that basically bolsters your board and insulates it and makes it much stronger. I personally play Almirage, Anima, IP, and SP, as well as Access Code Talker, and then I just personally also play a little fire extra deck package of Ambler Whale, Promethean Princess, and Heater, just because these cards are so strong. We're going into fire format, so you can turn your normal summon into an Almirage, link into a Heater, take one of their monsters, make a Princess and an Ambler Whale, to just it's just an option because everyone is playing fire decks, so and it's free, and you have the room in the extra deck. I play Excel Stardust for some Baron plays that you can do with Saphira and Diviner if it's impermed. Baron, Chaos Angel. These two are important, Herald and Entis. You can dump these going first or going second with your Diviner to help crack boards, and the last card I played was Typhon. So that is the extra deck, but you can really play whatever you want. There's so much space. You can play like 4 Super Poly targets if that's something that suits you. Alright, so why don't we get into some combos now, what you're waiting for. So first we have with what you can just do with just one low. We can start by normal summoning low and use the effect to place Barrier into our spell and trap zone. From there, Barrier can go ahead and search ourselves any Voiceless card from our deck to the hand, so we can grab a copy of Saphira. From here we can use Saphira's effect to send itself to the graveyard and send to the deck to the grave a ritual spell. So we're going to send our ritual spell here, which has great floating effects as well. At this point, it's going to also search a copy of our Skull Guardian. So from here, we can go ahead and use Saphira's second effect by banishing itself from the graveyard to ritual summon. And what's great is that low can be used as the entire ritual summon, just like any Necros monster. So we're going to summon our Skull Guardian. We'll go Chainlink 1 low to summon itself back from the graveyard as we ritual summoned, and Chainlink 2 Skull Guardian to search any Voiceless Voice or ritual monster from our deck to the hand. So summon back our low and search. In this case, you can search either of these, but I'm just going to add Saravis for targeting protection. And then from there, we can just pass like this if that's something you want to do. But what I would typically go for here is to link these off into our Dynamondo. And from there, we can just pass. So this is just off one card, which is quite strong. On our opponent's draw phase or at any point in the time, we can use Dynamondo's effect to tribute itself as cost to special summon a ritual monster back from our graveyard. So we'll get back our Skull Knight. Now on resolution, because you special summoned a ritual monster, low can then also trigger to special summon itself back from the graveyard. We can then on summon use the effect of low to place the Voiceless Voice trap card, just like that. So from one card, it's a +4. You still have 4 other cards in the hand, and this might not look too great, but you have a 4100 beat stick, which is an Omni Negate that cannot be targeted as well. This cannot be targeted for attacks because you have your ritual monster up. Neither of these light monsters can be targeted due to the spell. You have a continuous trap, which is a pop, or can also go ahead and search from deck to the hand. You have targeting, and this is quite powerful. Card combo we'll be showing off is what you can do with just one copy of Diviner of the Herald. We can normal summon it and use the effect to send from our deck to the grave or extra deck to the grave a fairy monster. So unfortunately, I do not own the Hierarchia, so I'm gonna have to proxy it right here. So let's say we Foolish Burial it. And then on res, we can special summon Hierarchia by tributing the Diviner of the Herald to the graveyard. At this point, this is just a 1900 vanilla, which doesn't really do anything. All that matters is that on resolution, we can trigger Diviner of the Herald because it was tributed to special summon a level 2 or lower fairy monster from our deck to the field, in this case, getting low. Low can then trigger, and we can basically just do the exact same play we did last time. We're going to get our spell. The spell is going to search Saphira. We can use Saphira's effect to send itself and a ritual spell to search for Skull Guardian. Now we can banish to ritual summon by tributing our low. Summon Skull Guardian, go Chainlink 1 low, because a ritual was summoned, Chainlink 2 Skull Guardian. And from here you can grab, like I said, the Saravis if you want, and you can special summon back out your low. From here, you can go ahead and link these off into a Dynamondo like we did last time, and you have pretty much the exact same board as we did last time. So next we have a really strong 2-card combo, which is pre-preparation of Rites and Diviner of the Herald. So why don't we show you what that can do? We can start by activating pre-prep to search ourselves from the deck to hand a ritual spell, and we can search out here now Saravis. Next, we can normal summon Diviner, and we have targeting protection, which is fantastic. We can use Diviner's effect here to send the Trias Hierarchia from our deck to the grave. Next, we can use the effect of Trias to special summon itself by tributing the Diviner, then use Diviner's effect to get out our low. Now we can use Low's effect to place the barrier. So here, our barrier will search a copy of Saphira, and once again, we're going to send it to the grave, send a copy of the ritual spell, and search Skull Guardian. At this point, we can now activate our ritual spell, tributing off our Novox or our Low to special summon out Skull Guardian. We can once again go Chainlink 1, Low, Chainlink 2, Skull Guardian, and in this case, we're going to grab ourselves the Saravis effect monster, and we're going to special summon back our Low. Right here. Sorry about the board space. So now we can actually do something really interesting. We can use the effect of our Saravis to special summon itself, or I think it just is an inherent summon. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the effect is to shuffle back one spell card, including a ritual spell as well, from your hand or grave back to the deck. So we're going to special summon it, shuffle back one of our ritual spells and our pre-preparation of rites, and summon itself right here, which is quite strong. And then from there, what we can go ahead and do is, once again, we can make a Dynamondo board. We can link these off if we so wish. We can use the effect of Dynamondo, tributing itself to summon back Skull Guardian. And we can go ahead and now grab the trap card off our Low, right? And during our opponent's turn, maybe they activate Wanted. You can chain the effect of Saravis to bounce itself as a cost back to the hand to special summon from our deck a ritual monster. So from here, we can go ahead and grab Saravis. Now, if they special summon Diabellstar or something like that, we can use the effect of Saravis to negate the summon and destroy it. You also have great follow-up. You have a Skull Guardian negate, you have pops, can't be targeted. It's just overall so much going on here. So these are just some very basic combos you can learn. There are other cards you can utilize, like the Ritual Otto's Pendulum Dragon. There are other combos and just like things you should know when trying to play the game, but we didn't really cover in this video. This is just a very basic early concept video, so go ahead and play around with the deck. If you like this content and enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.